Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Pinball Arcade. So last time we did Bonsai Run, which was a very interesting looking table that unfortunately was just a little too hard for its own good. Today we're doing Cyclone, which I would have thought was more about tornadoes than riding a roller coaster. Pinball and roller coasters or circus themes certainly overlap pretty well, although you're running into a problem in 2021 where there basically are no circuses of worth mentioning, and I don't think circuses ever really had significant amounts of arcades that they would uh, take with them as far as arcade machines, instead opting for the scam ticket games and booth games. Here we can see that this is 488 going a little bit more cartoony, a little bit more kid friendly as a table. Interestingly enough, we did not have a table history pop up, or I jumped through it. Cyclone 1988 is another classic table from the designer Barry Osler, featuring an outstanding theme with art created by Python Angelo, I assume is how you pronounce that. Um, Every part of the playfield represents a classic element of a carnival. This includes a rotating Ferris wheel that actually carries the ball and crazy ramps representing the Comet and Cyclone roller coasters. Banks of spot targets and a sinkhole represents the carnival spooky house, ball toss, and shooting gallery. This table also featured the industry's first mystery wheel on the back glass to spin for awesome rewards. Approximately 9,400 units of this table were produced. I bet I already came into this table once, and that's why the table history didn't show up. Which that's kind of nice to know that they show it to you once and then not anymore. Carnivals tend to be very uh, relatively dangerous, particularly ones that move around, because you're just constantly building up the roller coasters and taking them down. So there's a lot of room for parts to break. So yeah, if you were gonna feel a need to go on a roller coaster, I would heavily recommend doing a permanent installation roller coaster. Clowns also, even in 88, clowns like this were not really wanted or appreciated, and thank goodness they are mostly gone. Animals like elephants and such, there's basically no circus or carnival that has elephants anymore, or pretty much any animals. Of course, there's a whole pandemic that very easily could kill off the entire carnival industry. And many people will probably say good riddance. What's interesting on this backboard is just how many little people have been drawn. So it gives you a very zoomed out, top down scale, whereas almost every other table makes the ball a car or a bicycle or a jet, and it goes big, a fighter jet. Let's see. So we have a boomerang drop target here that I think probably just shoots the ball back and pretty much has a high chance of draining down the center. We do have a center peg. It doesn't look like we have a kickback. Probably don't have a ball saver. Interesting. It looks like there might actually be credits on this art. Interesting. So the creators of pinball tables now are starting to be somewhat famous. So the creator of Comet and Pinbot Python, Angelo, and Barry Ausler bring you Cyclone. So that they're becoming names in the industry and outside of industry insiders. There's a bit of an angle here to make it rather difficult, it looks, to actually go on the right out lane, while it's somewhat easy to go on the left out lane. Although this ramp probably would never actually hit that, so I don't know how you'd hit a ball on this ramp and have it bounce back that way. drop down targets, a loop that goes to the Ferris wheel, which is an interesting toy. And I think the Ferris wheel probably tells a bit of a story of the same couple either looking at each other or looking forward. And then that's a zigzag. You can see how if they had started over in 88, they probably would have made tables a little bit thinner than they are, because you have a zigzag, which that slows down the ball. It's also clear plastic. This is the first clear plastic tube we've seen, really, instead of just metal framework. There's 3 perfectly aligned triangular bumpers. There's a 1, 2, 3 at the top, and a purple launcher. I believe there's actually a skill shot. We can also see it has lane change here, where you want to get to this middle spot here, and each one of the metal things here is a gate. So you want to hit the 100,000, and then that gate.
Hurry, step right up.
I don't know. I guess it drains down at that point once you, because you shoot up to an upper play field, then it drains down to something, but I don't know where that drain goes. It feels like it would shoot back up to that point. This is another example where table exploration would be helpful if you could get a left or right angle on some of this table. Maybe that's a ball lock even, but even if it was a ball lock, it would still need a flinger. It still needs somewhere for the ball to go. And then you have a roller coaster that comes around and then zigzags all into the right in lane. There's quite a lot going on here. Ride the cyclone 3 times to beat a jackpot. And then you hit this one, and if you lose momentum, kind of seems like you would fall down directly into the bumpers. Otherwise you go all the way around and fall back down into the right in lane. So that's a lot. Spooky House seemingly is just a drop down target. So nothing there. You have a kind of backboard here that is showing more lights because they really don't have that many lights on this lower play field. Not as many as they could. You can advance it up to 7 times. And then the big attraction would be the spinning wheel and a jackpot increase, which the jackpot may follow between different games. There is definitely a kid friendliness to this table that is usually somewhat a secondary thought for tables, and that almost certainly highlights the fact that this table probably would have sold a little bit better and hung around a little bit more. I feel like a lot of tables, relatively speaking, probably were bought by arcades and then sold off after a couple years because they just were not good sellers and people didn't really want to play them. And I don't know if those kinds of tables eventually got scrapped for parts or ended up in collectors' hands. The numbers of tables built in the first place seem to be ridiculously small. Our standard goals are to shoot 100,000 skill shots, collect a mystery wheel award, which we don't know how to do it, shoot the Ferris bonus, activate double scores, and earn an extra ball. I'm not sure there's a multi-ball here either. And then this table is mostly quiet in attract mode. Alright, so there I just got the 100,000 immediately. So it's nice to have a good skill shot that you don't have to do really good. It is very cartoony. So when the ball gets up there, it does get flung up. Both the left and right triggers are lane selectors. Like, the fact that there were any tables actually built around the idea that only the right trigger was a lane selector feels like just a technological limitation instead of a gameplay logical limitation for any real reason. There we spelled 1, 2, 3. You do run into a problem here where you are looking at this creepy clown. So if you have any fear of clowns, you're gonna be unhappy with that. Also, that game ended fairly quickly for our first game. But this is a table that is going to be very much around getting those tight, strong shots. Because if you get up a certain ramp and lose momentum, you probably are doomed. Having the ability to use the left or right flippers for lane select actually doesn't even work that well for me anyways, because that's a fairly difficult shot. Now, what I was able to just show off there is a left-right option in which if you get really good at hitting the Ferris wheel, that will always drain to the left flipper. And then if you get really good at shooting the cyclone, that will always lead to the right flipper. Which basically means you can play forever, and you're not even going to be risking draining in the out lane. You would have to be pretty bad or pretty terrible at paying attention if you drain down the center lane in a shot like that. It does feel like the 1, 2, 3 at the top just activates double score mode. It doesn't seem to. I guess maybe that increases the multiplier too. And there's a little match game at the end, but I don't know if you're actually doing anything to trigger that match game or if that's random. Usually the match games at the end are fairly random, even if they seem like they aren't. And they're not winnable, they're rigged in a lot of scenarios. The game will let you win if they want you to win. So am I supposed to hit something?
We have a winner.
So I'm questioning if there are multiple ways to trigger this spinning wheel, which if you were playing the table in the real world, you would never actually be paying attention to the spinning wheel anyways. Or if it is always through hitting the center lane a couple of times. Which getting that shot is fairly difficult. This is a kind of calm table. Like, it's playing sound effects, sure, but they aren't anywhere as crazy as some of the other tables we've heard. I'm not sure what other single player standard goals are left to even do.
Ride the Ferris wheel.
It feels to me like we also have a kind of bonus holdover by default. Which that seems fairly easy. In a funny way, this is a table that feels like a table you would play in an arcade in a carnival if a carnivals did have arcades, which I imagine some carnivals did. Like this would be an ego booster table.
Round and round she goes. You paid your money, you take your chances.
And I imagine there's no way of nudging a table like that. This does feel like a table where I need more research as far as how do I get the bonus up. And I don't particularly get the American flag, and particularly the American flag on the left side. So we got a credit. So fairly high scoring table. So what standard goal are we trying to do? Extra ball. Several ways to earn an extra ball on this table. Extra ball is automatically awarded to a replay score of 2 million when you score 12 million points. And when you collect extra ball on the mystery wheel awards are random to spin the mystery wheel, knock down the drop target, and then shoot the ball into the spook house. Extra ball can be lit in the right out lane by completing all 3 duck targets. How many times? 3 times on one ball. Once extra ball is lit, it toggles between the right and the left out lane each time a slingshot is hit. Or the switches here and here, or here. Those are all just slingshots. Engaging another flipper also toggles the out extra ball between out lanes. If your first 2 turns totaled less than 67 seconds, extra ball automatically likes for the left out lane at the start of your 3rd turn. You can earn a maximum of 2 extra balls per ball. That's total 6 extra balls per game. There are 2 ways to earn specials. Alright, we don't even need to know of specials at this point. There is that whole thing about America never retreats, so the military never retreats, so the military always have the flag flying backwards looking, which in a weird way just kind of makes an argument that they should put the pole on the other side of the American flag so it is depicted everywhere in the same place. But in '88, I don't think that would have been a case. But I guess maybe it was, because this flag in particular really can't spin around. There's not enough room for it. You could at most spin back towards the table and forward. And see, here you have like a Canadian flag that is also the same thing, so the Comet seems to just have a couple of flags. There is a famous stationary group of carnivals called Six Flags, which originally meant Six Flags Over Texas because the state of Texas in the United States had Six Flags before it joined the United States Union, or has had Six Flags in its history. Maybe that's what they're trying to indicate. Otherwise, I don't get the flags. Maybe it's just patriotism, I suppose. That is very possible.
Hurry, hurry. Step right up.
So if I wanted to get the extra ball perfectly, I would just shoot here and then drain out there and then shoot there as fast as possible and then drain out here. And then play this seriously. And all we gotta do is drain out the out lane.
Round and round she goes.
There we go. Well, that was not the way I had planned on earning an extra ball, but I guess the game maybe isn't as random as it seems like it is.
Round and round she goes. We have
I wouldn't put it past a carnival or circus to feign patriotism. Certainly that would get them better sales. But considering how half of the people that work at circuses are scammers or living secret lives because they're fleeing from the law, I doubt that there is any true patriotism there. And if anything, I'd assume the general concept of a circus has been around for thousands of years. Well before the history of the United States or Canada. Although at a certain point, are you really gonna say that a courtroom jester and fairs are the same as carnivals, and ancient fairs are the same as carnivals and circuses? And for a game where I intentionally drained out the first two balls, I feel like I'm doing fairly well. Interesting that one of the rewards is zilch on that. So you can actually get a 0 reward. Or at least it seems like you can. Also, I'd say that Ferris wheel kind of has a problem in that it's not 100% clear if you're trying to match the wedge at the top or the wedge at the bottom or on the left or the right. Might as well drain out because we want to get to the wizard goals anyways. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a wizard goal to just win a match. But that would be fairly random.
Hurry, hurry, step right up.
Yeah, we're running into a scenario where the table's also fairly easy.
Hurry, hurry.
I guess it's where the guy is pointing
Hey, yo, with the face.
with his
Right
with his finger. That's what you're matching. And the lights on the outside of the spinner probably don't mean anything.
Step right up. Hurry, hurry.
And you have definitely a carnival barker yelling at you. We wanted a 500,000K skill shot. I don't know how you get that. Earn the special. Score the gate bonus jackpot. Score a double comment million. Score 693,000 into ball bonus. I feel like almost all of those goals probably have a lot to do with getting that multiplier up. And the rules of this table in particular might be very precise as far as how you would get that multiplier up and get those different shots.
Ride the Ferris wheel.
This might very well also just be a table that on these higher levels, if you're not just going to goof around and play, you would want to just shoot whatever is flashing. That would have been an instance where a kickback would have saved me. I haven't hit that sharp left boomerang once, so we should try that shot. Should potentially look at the drop down targets. This is another example of a table too where it's a little too slow to get back into the game.
Step right up.
And since this table is so kid friendly, that could be fairly annoying. And while this table is mostly just making sound effects, it's kind of a throwback to the 60s tables where it was just bells. But it's not quite that. There is actual quality there. Enough to recognize that this is decent music and decent audio.
Round and round she goes.
So that should be extra ball, yeah. So it is where his finger points. Alright, so that must be the score multipliers, that boomerang shot. And I'd say that boomerang shot's not terrible. It's fairly slow. Whereas I would have kind of expected it to try and wreck you pretty terribly.
Hey, yo! Step right up.
There's a couple places on this table where it feels like you could have had some sneak in targets, sunken targets behind other things.
Round and round she goes.
I'm trying to somewhat avoid hitting the loops. So that was 25 times 2. You can definitely feel how the plunger is still fairly random, too. And that's score times 4. So you're gonna get that shot on the right fairly accurately. Special.
Round and round she goes.
And see if we have a score times like 4. The highest score on the table seems to be about 200,000. So 200,000 multiplied by 5 would be 1,000,000.
We have a winner.
So not a bad run. This is kind of one of those tables though where odds are high that you'll play through it very quickly.
Step right up.
And this is undoubtedly a table I have played before, at least a couple of times. It's just so nice and colorful. Like, you could easily put this kind of table in front of a 8-year-old, and while they may not understand the intrinsic difficult shots, they would be able to play the table and bounce the ball around, and wherever they shot would feel like they had accomplished something pretty good. And that is kind of the beautiful thing about pinball tables, is it is accessible to people who can't read, who can't do math, because it still makes sound effects. It still feels like you're doing something, even if you don't realize that there's actually some scoring going on for your activity. Every second feels like a success as long as you keep the ball in play. And even if you fail, like 2 out of the 3 times, you just get another ball and another try. The penalty is incredibly low for failure. There are a couple of tables out there that will laugh at you or insult you, and those are tables that, even if that is the joke or that would be in character with the theme, it's hard to appreciate something like that. Like, I much prefer pinball tables to be all positive or silent. That was a lucky shot.
Hey, go. Round and round she goes.
It seems like the game wants to give you extra balls more often than anything else, which that makes sense. That makes the game easier and lets you play more. And I bet in the operator's manual you can probably change the chances of getting an extra ball and lower it. Unlike some of the other tables, this is not a table where I can say, oh, it's all just that one left lane shot. There's so many other directions you can send the ball, and half of them will get you back to where you want to be anyways. Right, now if I can get this to land where I want it to. Well, that might have gotten me 500,000 skill shot. Maybe. I'm still not sure what increases the bonus elsewhere. Like, we have this flashing 1.5 million score. I think there's probably some opportunity to target the drop-down targets more. Also,
We have a winner.
This is definitely a table I don't want to put down. There's not a lot to say about it though, in a funny way. It's just kind of a great table. Like, it doesn't have much of a gimmick to it, so if I was having a discussion about the craziest, wildest tables ever, I wouldn't bring up Cyclone. But if I was talking about some of the best tables ever, Cyclone deserves to be in that conversation. It doesn't try to be too innovative and instead polishes what had been established previously. With the exception of the Ferris wheel, there's nothing new on this table. Well, the wheel on the backboard too. But everything else is pretty much bog standard. Maybe the upper lane skill shot. And in a certain argument, we've seen lots of tables that haven't had skill shots. So the fact that this does have skill shots, nice. It's missing a multi-ball, it's missing a kickback, and as the years go forward, we will start to see more and more tables improve on these concepts. I did actually land on zilch, which is funny because I felt like that was never actually going to happen, and it was rigged to never actually land on zilch.
Round and round she goes.
I'm still just really unclear on how they increase the jackpot. Darn it. Like many tables, when you start to just focus on getting the score multiplier up, it stops becoming a table where you can really focus on doing anything else. I'm doing a terrible job of trying to get the bonus multiplier shot. I'm doing kind of a great job of getting the double score shot through the top lanes. But I guess I'm keeping the ball in play. Probably don't want the ball to follow, which it has been following this whole time. It must be the cyclone shot that increases the multiplier, or increases some bonus, but it's a different bonus. There's like a bonus in the back left there that seems to go up with the cyclone shot, but the jackpot seems to do nothing. We might as well just get a good game if we can. I feel like it's a little weird that the drop down targets or the standing targets on the left have a bumper. Like, you could have probably eliminated some of those bumpers, but they're not bad enough to really complain about either. See, that seemed to give me an extra ball immediately.
Ride the Ferris wheel. Round and round she goes.
5,000. I imagine some expert pinball players would probably make an argument against not shooting the center lane and going for random shots instead of going for guaranteed shots elsewhere that would give you a set amount of reward. But I bet the mystery shots, even as long as you don't end up on zilch too often, I bet they probably do work fine. And see, now that was score times 5 on that skill shot, which means this must have been the 5th ball that has actually entered the field, and the score multiplier must go up every time there is a new ball added, so you have to get several extra balls to get that wizard goal, which, okay, it's not particularly too hard to do on this table. Darn it.
We have a winner.
Let's play one more game because I can't put this down. I'm loving this. For just kind of simplicity reasons, really. It's like, this is just a great table. I would be slightly shocked that it was 1988. I would have thought it would have been much closer to 81 or 82 in its time frame. Like, when you look at the visuals here, compare that to even Mario, it feels like it is throwback animation intentionally. So, How do you score a gate bonus jump? The right ramp on the playfield represents a cyclone roller coaster. This allows you to score a lot of points, including the gate bonus jackpots. At the start of the game, 50k is light on the cyclone ride. Is lit on the ramps. The first shot will scores 50,000 and lights 100,000 for 15 seconds after completing the second ramp. Before the timer expires, scores 100,000 points and lights the gate bonus. Completing another cyclone shot before the timer expires is the gate bonus jackpot value. The gate bonus jackpot value starts at 1.5 million points. Each time this is completed, it adds 5,000 to the gate bonus jackpot to a maximum of 4 million points. The gate bonus jackpot carries over from ball to ball, player to player, and game to game until it is scored or the cyclone table is reloaded. Once the gate bonus jackpot is scored, it resets to 500,000 points. If you score the gate bonus jackpot or allow the 15-second timer to expire once the gate bonus, all the lights are turned off. To relight 50k to start this, you have to complete the duck targets. Okay. The left ramp represents the Comet roller coaster. This allows you to score a lot of points, for including the Comet Million. Each time the Comet ramp is shot, it scores the highest lit Comet score value shown here. That starts at 40k. Shooting the Comet ramp collects the score worth 40k and lights the 60k for 20 seconds if the timer expires before the next thing. So you have to just hit it multiple times. Not all in a row though. You could hit the 40k, light the 60k, and then run out of time. Then hit the 60k and light the 80k, and hit the 80 and then light it again. Completing cat. The cat targets at the ball toss. Relights the 40k without a timer. Comet score can be then scored and advanced again by shooting the Comet ramp. The last Comet score is 1,000,000. This lights up a 10-second timer. Once it's lit, shooting the Comet score scores 1,000,000 points. If double score feature is activated, it will score 2,000,000. Double score feature activates for 20 seconds each time the 1, 2, and 3 are completed, which that explains why it's fairly easy to do the 1, 2, and 3 at the top and why it's not really helping that much. It starts at 40k, but if you go all the way through, it actually goes back down to 20k, which is odd. And then when the ball drains, it will earn in the ball bonus, known as the out-hole bonus. The bonus starts at 1,000 points, and there are several targets on the platform that increases it. On the playfield that increases it. But seemingly there is no lights. To view the current in the ball bonus, engage either flipper to view the status report. View the status report until the out-hole bonus is displayed. Interesting. So you'd have to basically hold the ball to see the bonus instead of it being shown on the table. That really feels like a step back more than anything. And then skill shot. There's a skill shot multiplier that advances by 1x each time the skill shot is completed, up to a maximum of 5x. Okay. So if I was to turn on ball control in operator mode, let's see what we can maybe do. Apparently free play. There's just a lot of audits telling you what this is. That's why it says AU, is it's standing for audits, to just tell the owner how many rewards, replays, things like that have been played, just to make sure there isn't somebody that's, I guess, really good, or in general that the table is just really, really easy. Which none of this really makes any sense for your typical arcade that's a slow arcade. Maybe if you did have a really busy arcade and there was people lining up to play certain games, then you might want to make something more difficult. But unlike, say, a bar or a restaurant, or even maybe Walmart, where you're selling on the margins and making profit on the margins, in an arcade, you're usually so slow that you're just kind of losing money on the margins. I wouldn't be surprised if almost every arcade in every mall was actually losing money completely, and they only existed as under special leases to have an arcade in the mall to bring in more kids and more families. Like the assumption, I assume, would be very, so they're easy, medium, hard in, and now it's saying AD instead of AU, which I guess those are probably advanced options. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if the way they calculated profit was that the arcade was basically, here I'm trying to use ball control to make the ball go forward, upward, and it's not happening. Right. So if you were gonna completely ball control here, your first goal to simulate a successful thing would be to just get the ball into that multiple times. Now, with the ball control, you kind of have to let it shoot and shoot the ball back down, because you can't just keep it in that underlying area or nudge the ball. I don't know if I've even got the multiplier hit enough, because it doesn't seem like that's actually increasing the multiplier. So the two green lights at the bottom there, that was the multiplier, have to apparently be hit. And the green lights on the clown indicate whether the ducks in the shooting gallery have been hit. Right. Seems like you can send the ball up to the Ferris wheel with ball control, but almost certainly you won't be able to hit the cyclone or any of the other areas.
You, sir, and you, madam.
Even with ball control, you really don't have control, so...
Hurry.
Yeah, it seems like you have to complete something else before you can light the multiplier any further. Maybe it's the Ferris wheel in that case, because the Ferris wheel did seem to allow that to light.
Hey, yo, what the face?
So we'll run this back to the Ferris wheel. may just be that you have to hit the in lane to light the multiplier. And that may very well be the case. Let's experiment with that. Yep, it is just the left in lane, not the full multiple. Not the... It doesn't seem like it wants to let the score times 7 to happen. It would make sense to go ahead and shoot for a free ball. Alright, let's see if the right in lane lights the multiplier. Yes, it does. But at that point, it just does 10K. So your next shot would be, after you've got your score multiplier up as high as possible, is to look for a free ball. We assume that it is the clown that is doing most of the carnival barking. And even with ball control, you can see it's very, very difficult to hit this. And you know that the ball connects. And I guess that's what it's showing on the playfield, is that when the ball hits the sinker in the middle, it actually drains to the left flipper in a tunnel. Seems very, very possible that you're going to also not get an extra ball if it doesn't want to give you an extra ball. Man, that is a tight shot. This is another modification you could do, is you could remove the opportunity to hit those bumpers and just remove the bumpers, and you'd have better shots. Wow. And I suppose if you're cheating like this, you could increase your double score quite a bit. And increase that counter. As far as hitting that ramp or hitting that ramp, it's pretty much not a no-go there. So you kind of have nothing else you can do on this table except for shoot for just shoot for the ramps and improve the ramps as much as possible. So now I'm just gonna have to play. I'm still not sure what increases the jackpot, but yeah, your goal is to A, not drain, and B, just shoot the same shot, either the cyclone or the roller coaster not particularly shoot the shot for the Ferris wheel. Which means I would have to get really good at hitting a couple shots here. Which is better than most tables where you eventually boil down to just having to get really good at one shot and one shot only. Plus you still have the focus of the skill shot at the beginning of each table. Or beginning of each ball. Hit that, and then hit that, and then hit it, miss it. We didn't have a multiplier hold over, unfortunately. The bonus was held that time, so what did I do to hold the bonus on that ball that I didn't do previously?
Ride the Ferris wheel.
Hit that one. And drain directly down the center.
We have a winner.
See, that was 400,000. Just need to get a little bit better.
Ride the comet.
Yeah, the comet is what we're trying to hit.
Hey, yo.
It would be very shocking if it turned out there was a multi-ball mode on this table. I'm not even trying to do the roller coaster shot. I should be trying to do that. I'm just not getting good at it. I go too far to the right.
Ride the Ferris wheel.
I feel like this is a table where more bonuses for hitting different ramps in a row would be appreciated, instead of trying to push the player to hit the same ramps over and over again, because the hitting the cyclone doesn't bring the ball back to the flipper you would need it to be at to hit the cyclone anyways. And that inherently makes it a much more difficult shot.
We have a winner.
And even simulating that, I barely got like 470,000, 4,700,000 score, which I would have thought you probably would have gotten a higher score there. But I guess not. It's not as high scoring a table as I thought it would be. Right, instructions. Miscellaneous scoring. Here's some other ways to score points. Advanced DX. Completing the roll under at the entrance, a score. Ferris wheel. Is there a Ferris wheel bonus? Seems like it's hitting the Ferris wheel multiple times. What is that jackpot?
Hey, yo, what the
5,000 to 200,000 points. If the Mr. Wheel stops on zilch, nothing is awarded. Can also award an extra ball or a special on this table. Scores 100,000 points. What is that jackpot? Then. I cannot find a single place on this table where the jackpot triggers or increases. It's like it's just there to be interesting, and it never got programmed in. It really wouldn't be part of the in the ball bonus. Seriously, I'm gonna have to go through every single instructions looking for the word jackpot. Allows you Gates bonus jackpots. That must be it. Yeah. It must be totally around that idea of, let's see, what does this say? Ride the cyclone 3 times to get jackpot. So then, how do you increase the jackpot? And maybe the jackpot just goes up higher and higher each time. The gate bonus jackpot starts at 1,500,000 each time a lit or unlit 1, 2, 3 is completed. That's 50,000 to the gate bonus jackpot up to a maximum of 4 million. So maybe that is a case where this number is slowly going up, but it does it in such a small increments that the jackpot doesn't actually go higher. Yeah, it says jackpot bonus 1.5 million, which feels like that jackpot bonus would go higher. Well, regardless, I've been playing for an hour and 10 minutes. I would love to play Cyclone more. It is definitely going into my favorites. At a certain point, you run into an issue, certainly, where it is perhaps too easy to burn yourself out on the good tables, so you want to pace yourself a little bit. We can see for a relatively low scoring table, there's quite a lot of people here that have high scores, either through cheating or legitimate means. Even just weekly, seems like there's been only 22 people. Oh, I guess I am playing this on a Sunday though, so that does probably imply something too. So I am, for this week, in the top 20. But yeah, so I guess we've also learned that playing this on a Sunday is the time if you want to get a high score to show off. But then you'll lose that high score by the time you hit Friday or Saturday. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. There's not a lot to criticize on that table. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.